Hello my witchy friends, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Sophie, I'm the Midwest Magician, and today I am really excited. We are celebrating 5,000 subscribers on the channel with a 5K Q&A. Now when I did the call to action for questions, I did also phrase it as a holiday 5K Q&A, so some of these questions might be holiday themed, which I think is still appropriate because this video is coming out in the winter. This is going to be my last video of 2025, and I am so excited to be celebrating all of the subscribers here on the channel. So before we dive into the questions, I did just want to extend a heartfelt thank you for being here. I am so grateful for everyone that is here, everyone that has clicked subscribe thus far, and I'm excited to see where the channel will go in the new year. So with all that being said, let's jump into some of these questions here. I did get quite a few, so I might not be able to touch on every single one, but rest assured there will be more Q&As in the future. So the first question, do you do any Yule crafts? Absolutely. This year, actually more than ever before, I did do a Vlogmas going over kind of all of the things that I did for the holiday season. I'll have that playlist linked somewhere up here on the screen, but just as a quick overview, I made a protection charm. I revamped a bunch of ornaments that I wasn't really happy with, and now I like them quite a bit. I made some garlands for my hutch, and this year I made my first ever Yule log. It is just back here. I've been really wanting to lean into the Sabbats more, so definitely expect to see that on the channel for future videos. All right, the next question. What would you recommend to newer practitioners struggling to stay consistent? My best advice for this is to pick one thing that interests you, and it can change, of course, over time, but really just narrow it down to one specific thing and start to integrate this into your existing routines and rituals. Again, you don't have to keep this as your focus forever, but I personally find that it's easier to get things to stick within my practice when I pair them to existing habits. I hope that's helpful for you. That's how it's worked the best for me within my practice, and I am wishing you the best of luck on your journey. All right, the next question. Is there anything new that you're planning for YouTube or Patreon? Yes, so for the channel, you can still expect vlogs. However, I think I'm going to shift these to a monthly format. I noticed that my audience really enjoys longer vlogs, so this will kind of be a way to not only lengthen content, but show more of a wide range of what it is I'm doing on a month-to-month basis. You will get to see mundane things along with the magical and witchy side of my life, and oftentimes there is a lot of overlap. I do also plan to do a lot of beginner 101 content, which I know is not everyone's favorite, but it does help a lot of people out, so I will be mixing that in with my content as well. I do also have a plan in the works to do some more collaborations with other creators, but everything is still on paper and has not been put into motion just yet, so that will be announced at a later date. And then as far as my review videos, I am going to be shifting my deck reviews over to Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. However, I'm not sure if other creators are having the same issue. I looked up online and it seems like a lot of folks are having similar issues to what I am, but YouTube Shorts does not allow me to adjust the volume of the music. So if I'm doing voiceover and also music in the short, it sounds like a jumbled, horrible mess. So I'm working through that issue. Definitely there will be deck reviews over on my Instagram because Reels are a lot easier to work with. As far as book reviews, I will show you guys what I'm reading within my monthly vlogs and kind of talk about it and showcase it that way. I'm sure I will have some dedicated book review videos, but this year I do really want to focus on the vlogging side of things. So hopefully that is exciting for you. You'll have to let me know what you want to see on the channel. As far as Patreon goes, I will be making some adjustments to the existing tiers, but most of the monthly formatting will stay the same. And then I am also considering opening up memberships here on YouTube, and this would essentially just mirror the lowest tier on my Patreon called Rooted, which gives early access to videos and your name is added to the end credits of my videos. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I am more than happy to set up memberships here on YouTube to mirror Patreon. Okay, the next question is, what is your favorite holiday snack? I'm a snacker. I am very much a snacker. I am a savory kind of girl. So some of my favorites, not just for the holiday season, but in general, popcorn with a ton of Celtic sea salt and nutritional yeast. For the holidays specifically, homemade Chex Mix. However, I need to look through this cookbook, Vegan Pantry, because they have a vegan Worcestershire sauce recipe in here and I need that for my homemade Chex Mix. So that should be coming soon to a kitchen near me. I love dips, so really any dip will do. A recent one that I made was a garlicky lemon butterbean dip. Oh my gosh, it was so delicious. I toasted up some of my sourdough and dipped it in there, and I will definitely be making that again. And then if I just want like a couple of bites of something, I will grab some olives or pickles, because who doesn't love a good briny, delicious, salty snack? Really anything savory and I am there. Okay, next question. Michigander here. Any uniquely Midwestern parts of your practice? Yes and no. Here's where this question is tricky. It's a great question, but it is a little bit tricky for me. The Midwest is a very different region. We are the crossroads of America, and I find the Midwest to be a very liminal space, since it is very open and a lot of just plains, a lot of farmland, a lot of just open space. If you look to somewhere like Appalachia, for example, there is a very deeply rooted culture within the mountain range that the Midwest just doesn't quite have because of our landscape. That said, we do still have a lot of tight-knit communities in the Midwest. There are a lot of Midwestern customs. However, not a lot of them are super witchy. But with that said, in the Midwest, we are lucky enough to see all 4 seasons for what they truly are. So I would say most of my more pagan and nature-based practices are inherently Midwestern in that regard. It's also tricky to think of because I am from here. I have never left the Midwest. I've been, born and raised in the Chicagoland area, so things that might stick out as very Midwestern to others are just normal to me. So that is a tricky question. I think the answer is yes and no. Okay, the next question. Do you celebrate the winter solstice / Yule and also the 25th of December, Christmas Day? Yes, I do celebrate both. I grew up celebrating Christmas, and honestly, I won't lie, Christmas is probably my least favorite holiday of all time. I grew up with divorced and remarried parents, so that made Christmases extra long for me, which I'm sure some kids would absolutely love, but having to do the same thing 4 separate times with 4 separate families got really exhausting really fast. And I think coupling that with working in retail for several years of my life, it just kind of ruined the holiday for me. And that's not to say I don't enjoy being with family, but I'm also not a Christian, so I'm not celebrating Christmas as a way of celebrating Christ's birth. So I am celebrating Christmas more in the unfortunately capitalist way, paired with seeing family that I don't typically get to see. As far as the winter solstice, that is something that I'm way more excited about. So this year specifically, there was way more of an emphasis on the solstice than there was for Christmas, at least in my household. The next question, do you have any spells or rituals that you do for the winter season? For the solstice and Yule season specifically, I did make the Yule log and a Yule oil, and I have been practicing the 12 wishes ritual. I know some people are doing 13 wishes, I'm doing 12. And actually, my husband has decided to do this with me this year, which I was very excited to share this part of my life with him. He's not inherently witchy or pagan or anything like that, but it was very special to me that he took an interest in this one. Outside of that, for the remainder of winter, it's important to me to kind of turn in and allow things to become a little bit more dormant. I'll still be doing my daily practices and routines, but I'm going to kind of let my practice naturally wind down until the springtime, just as a way to kind of mirror and honor the season that we're currently in. Next question. I'm curious what has started you on your path in the first place and what has changed from then to now. This is a tricky question too, because I feel like as a child, I was inherently witchy. I was really drawn to magical things. I just never had a name for it. So it has definitely been an interest of mine since I was a child. I really started leaning into the title of witch when I went to college. That's when it kind of came to me and things started naturally falling into place. I was introduced to a friend who kind of guided me through my first circle experience and gave me some of the tools that I needed to start on a Wiccan path, and that is something that I no longer focus on. I'm no longer considering myself a Wiccan. However, I would never bash Wiccans. I would never bash Wicca. I know it's kind of popular to hate on it right now. I am not in that camp. It gave me a fantastic foundation to grow my practice from. So that is how I got started and what interested me in the first place. And now it has kind of evolved into more of a folk practice. I do have a few things in 2026 that I really want to kind of dive into and explore a lot more. So stay tuned for that. You'll see in upcoming vlogs where this journey will take me. Any tips for witches/seekers who want to join in on the conversation? And their examples are making content, creating a channel, or even joining a server, but maybe holding back. My best advice is to just get started. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have everything planned for. You don't need a camera. Most people have smartphones, and those are a great way to get started with filming. Once you get into kind of the routine of filming and get used to being in front of the camera, your content will really start to kind of take shape. At least that's in my experience. I wish I would have started so much sooner than I did. And honestly, just my fear of being perceived was what stopped me for so many years. I've had so many positive experiences with YouTube, with Instagram, and so many different witches that are on these platforms. I really want to encourage you to try it out and see how it goes for you. All right, the next question. Do you have a deity you work with seasonally, all year round, or whenever the need strikes? I don't necessarily have seasonal deities, but I do have a lot of deities that are more so on an as needed basis. And then I do also still give them offerings if I'm not needing anything from them at the time, just out of respect. So I work often with Baba Yaga, and she gets offerings from me whenever I bake fresh bread. I have a Santa Muerte altar in my bedroom, and she receives flowers from me. I do also work with Saint Michael. I don't really see him as a deity. He's an angel. He's an angelic figure, and he has a permanent altar in my magical cat room. I have worked with Hecate in the past, and I do plan to in the future. I do also work with Folkloric Devil on occasion, and then I work with a lot of different saints as well as Mother Mary. So needless to say, it's kind of a mixed bag for me. It typically is always as needed, and I have considered becoming a devotee of certain figures or deities. I just haven't quite gotten myself there yet. Next question, do you work with spirit guides? I'm not entirely sure how to answer this question. So I do work with a lot of different spirits, but I wouldn't necessarily call them my spirit guides. I work with my ancestors. I honor my ancestors and venerate them. I work with a lot of plant spirits, be that in my garden or the house plants that are around my house, but I wouldn't necessarily call any of them spirit guides. I did previously years and years and years ago, but that's just not something that really stuck with my practice personally. Next question, do you have any go-to recipes, magical and non-magical, during the holidays/colder season? And there's a note that by recipes, they don't just mean food, but also cocktails, essential oil blends, bath salt blends, etc. Absolutely. So as far as food goes, I have so many different soup recipes. We are big into soups in this house. house, especially now that I have a good sourdough routine going. I have a really good butternut squash soup recipe that I use for prosperity. As far as cocktails, we don't drink alcohol, but we do have some good mocktails where we use various juices. This past one, I used a cranberry juice, mixed that with carbonated water, adding in a little bit of maple syrup and muddled rosemary. That is definitely a favorite for this time of year. I don't typically use essential oils in the house just because we have cats and I don't want to make them sick, but I do like to make a lot of different oils to put on my person. One of those was my Yule oil. I will put the video that I made it in somewhere up on the screen. It's part of my Vlogmas series, but in that one I believe I put in some incense ash from a balsam fir incense cone. I used Celtic sea salt, peppercorn, cedar, rosemary, and bits of dried orange. And I've been anointing myself with that every night for the 12 wishes ritual. Really my go-tos for this time of year is any kind of evergreen, any kind of citrus, and rosemary. Those are my favorites. We're getting towards the end of the questions. There are so many comments that are congratulating the channel growth, and I really want to acknowledge and thank everyone for their congratulations. Next question: how did you get so comfortable on camera and with your witchy identity? Thank you so much. That is quite the compliment. I personally don't feel like I am totally comfortable with the camera yet. I feel like it's a work in progress. Every single video I get a little bit more confident, I get a little bit more comfortable, but I feel like there's still a lot of work to go as far as that is concerned. With my witchy identity, that one is a little bit easier for me because it's something that I have integrated so deeply into my regular lifestyle. For me, it's just kind of a part of who I am and not necessarily something that I have to go do separately from myself. So that has made it very easy to embrace my witchy identity, is just integrating that into my everyday life. The last question: if you do, how do you like to bring the sun into your life in the dead of winter? That is a really good question. I personally love to incorporate citrus as a way to bring the sun into my practice. I know that most citruses are winter fruits technically. However, their vibrance gives off a lot of solar energy in my opinion. So integrating citrus into things like my home decor or in simmer pots or things that I am consuming is always a really great way to kind of be reminded that the sun is returning slowly day by day. We made it to the end. That is all of the questions that we have for today's video. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing Q&As, and thank you to everyone that left a comment, whether you had a question or not. I read everything and I really appreciate everyone's input, everyone's questions, and congratulations. I think I already mentioned it, but this is the last video of 2025. What an awesome year it has been on YouTube. I very much look forward to the new year on YouTube with you. If you made it to the end of the video, can you leave a little sun emoji? I love to know who watches all the way to the end. I hope your winter celebrations have been wonderful, and I am wishing you a very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. I will see you very soon for the next video. Take care. Bye.